Welcome, it's Brian reminding you that your future is counting on the next 10 minutes. Thank you very much for joining us. And today I want to focus a little bit about or around human imagination, because here's the thing. Everyone talks about how important imagination is. I believe it was Einstein that said that imagination is more important than knowledge. But what you may not know is imagination plays both sides of the coin. When you talk about the yin-yang symbol, I think of the imagination right away, because you can imagine the worst or you can imagine the best. So when it comes to electrifying your legacy, it begins right now. What you do in this particular moment in all of time, here in the labyrinth of life, the garden of the mortals itself, what you do right now ripples out into that legacy, into that eternity. And what we can do right now in this particular moment is decide whether we're going to listen to our imagination, and does our imagination support us? Because when you think about it, people that want to play you, people that want to hold you down, whether it's politically, religiously, philosophically, even in terms of business, want to hold you down. They want the soundtrack of fear playing in your mind. They don't want the soundtrack, the imagination of ferocious to be playing in your mind, because then you're too much of a challenge to handle. So if you're worried about your legacy, what you can do right now in this moment is decide which side of the imagination coin are you going to listen to, your fears or your ferocity. And it really is that simple, because who was it that said one time that fear is false expectations appearing real? I think that was Mark Twain. But on the flip side of the coin, your imagination can be structured in such a way that you are unstoppable. And that's where we begin to believe that your imagination has a true side. And that true side is where you remember that you have a superhuman status, that you're not defeated until you decide you are. You haven't surrendered until your philosophy says it's time to tap out. And I know in this day and age, with everything going on with coronavirus, everything going around with the lockdown, all the craziness, the economy, everything, all of that, it's up to you to whether you buy into it or not, or whether you look at it as a challenge that you know you will rise from. I was talking to a doctor not too long ago, and she said, "Bri, why is it that every time that I speak about an insurmountable challenge, your eyes light up? Why is it that every time I talk about an uphill battle, your eyes never look bluer?" Because I suspect you're the same way as I am. Although we've been indoctrinated to look at our uphills as battles we just can't win. What if we believe that we only get stronger with our uphills? What if we believe that in terms of electrifying our legacy begins right now in this moment when we look at fate and go, that's all you brought? Because make no mistake, fate is a predator. Fate does everything it can to interrupt your destiny. And I believe your destiny is encoded with who you ultimately are. Not the side of the imagination that convinces you, oh, the sky is falling. But the side of the imagination where you see yourself rising to any challenge at all. So when we talk about electrify your legacy, it's with that train of thought in mind. It's up to you. Your footprint will be removed. Your footprint will be removed from the sands of time. All you can do in terms of your legacy is for them to remember how bold you were. When we say all the time, bring your own bold. It's with that one purpose in mind, that no matter how much the deck seems stacked against you, no matter how bad the hand is that you're dealt, you're going to rise to the occasion. You're going to channel your all-natural being. You're going to channel your natural resources. You're going to channel the marrow of your very mind, your authentic vigor. You're going to channel your buried logic, and you're going to rise to the moment at hand. And then when you do that, your legacy takes care of yourself. Your legacy actually takes care of yourself. I'll say it again, because it encodes in you what your future is going to look like, because you are now, in this particular moment in all of time, going, I will not be defeated by this. I will not let them drag me down. I will absolutely rise to the challenge, whatever that challenge is. And whether it's politicians or whether it's corporations or whatever face fate takes, they're trying to hold you back. And I believe, and I want to show you this quickly, I believe they're trying to hold you back for one very simple reason. Let's jump to this quickly. You are a personification of the wave, and they are scared to death that you will remember and realize just what that means. So they aid and abet your amnesia, armed with an arsenal of bait-and-switch fears, because they are viscerally terrified of you and your ultimate potential, which is why it's time to mortal up and bring your own bolt. Time to pull your sword from the stone, because your life is one you will never forget. Kneel now, and eternity will never let you up. And that's why when we talk about electrifying your legacy, if your legacy is one of kneeling, the universe will never, ever, ever let you up. So in this particular moment in all of time, you have to decide, I am not my baggage. I am not everything I've been taught. I am not everything that everyone thinks about me. I am what I decide to be in this particular moment in all of time. I handle what comes at me in the labyrinth of life and no other. Now, is it an easy path? Not always. Are people betting against you? Pretty much. That's a pretty safe bet that others are going to bet against you. Because here's another belief that I have. Misery loves company. And to the degree that you're surrounded by people that don't want to channel the marrow of their very minds, they're going to be like, legacy, schmegacy, what's that all about? Who really cares? Don't worry about it. Just do whatever you want to do, right? Just kind of go with the flow. But as we said earlier, fate is a predator. Its job, its goal, its collapse of the wave function is to bring you and your destiny down. But you get to decide. And tomorrow's episode, we're doing the delicate. Why decide to be delicate? Delicate is a decision. Panic is a philosophy. Because in this moment, in all of time, you get to prove who you are. And so few people do that your legacy dovetails to support you. Because I believe, as we said yesterday, anyone can look into a mirror. But it takes the bravest among us to stand there long enough for the mirror to stare back. Well, if your mirror stares back at you, what's it going to see? What's it going to be focused on? All the different things that haven't come to fruition in your life? All the different things that you were put here to do that for whatever reason you've ignored up until today? Or can you confidently stand in front of your mirror and go, you can stare back as long as you like. There's no way that you're going to hold any fouls on me. So if you want to electrify your legacy, it begins right now, in this particular moment, in all of time. It begins when you refuse to accept anything other than your true grit. I said in an interview earlier today, grit is your guardian angel. No matter what circumstance you find yourself in, that guardian angel, that guiding spirit is your human grit, your authentic vigor, the marrow of your very mind. So ask yourself, which part of my imagination am I going to listen to? Because imaginations, they just want an outcome, right? They have no vested interest. The imagination has no vested interest in whether it's a good or a bad outcome. It's just an outcome. That's where you have to decide. Is your imagination going to run you? Or are you going to run your imagination? And when you decide to run your imagination, that's how you electrify your legacy. All right, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you so very much for joining us. As we said at the very beginning, 10 minutes. That's all it's going to take because your future is counting on those. We will see you bright and early Monday morning. Thank you so very much for joining us.